good morning.
I see you. I remember we met several years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago. No, even more. It was 2005. Please.
President, Commission, Council, Parliament.
Mr. Van Rompuy too?
Yes.
And Mrs. Ashton? No?
No.
Of course. Yes, sorry. What do you think about this report on...
The personal involvement of President Medvedev helps sides to come closer to the settlement. Therefore, our expectations are optimistic, and we think that if Armenian side will show constructive approach and will find the political will to make important step forward, the conflict can be resolved very soon.
What should the Armenian side do in order to be constructive, as you said?
As far as the negotiation process is concerned, the basic principles which were offered by mediators to both sides are in line with internationally recognized law norms, which are territorial integrity of the countries and self-governance of the people. These two principles, they are not confronting. They are both important, and both of them can be provided in the peace agreement.
What Azerbaijan is ready to give in case of a withdrawal of Armenian forces from Nagorno Karabakh? Is Azerbaijan offering something?
Actually, we do not owe something which does not belong to us to give it back. Nagorno Karabakh is a historic land of Azerbaijan and internationally recognized territory of Azerbaijan.
Yeah, but the Armenians will withdraw their troops only under some peculiar condition, as, for instance, the self-determination or the autonomy, a strong autonomy of the region, I suppose.
For many years, our position was very clear, and several times I personally, publicly declared that we are ready to grant the highest possible autonomy existing in the world to people who live in Nagorno Karabakh and who will return back to Nagorno Karabakh.
How should this autonomy work, according to you?
That will be the subject for future negotiations, and to our mind it could be a vast autonomy. The positive example of autonomies existing in Europe, I think, could be very attractive, because it will be difficult for us to invent something new. We have these positive examples in European countries.
For instance?
For instance, in Italy, in Tyrol, in other places, where a central government pays a lot of attention, maybe much more attention, to autonomy, and financial support is much broader, in order to provide decent living conditions for the people. We can do the same. Azerbaijan is a country with vast financial resources, and for us it will not be a big problem to implement serious social and economic development programs for Nagorno Karabakh.
What is your impression about the current Armenian political leadership approach to this problem? Do you think that they are more open-minded than in the past?
Until a certain period of time, there was a mood in Armenia that they will keep the status quo as long as they can, and they will succeed in doing that. But important developments in recent months show that international community and the co-chairs of the Minsk group, United States, Russia and France, and their leaders made a very straightforward statement that status quo is not acceptable. This was the events of the recent months.
So according to you, the current situation in Nagorno-Karabakh is a sort of zero-sum game?
Since 2004, we are in a new process. The concept of the settlement is absolutely different from it was in the past. And the principles which are being discussed for the last 5-6 years. This is first. So it was a process. It was not just all of a sudden we came to more close understanding. Second, I think, the most important is that there is a clear understanding in the world that Nagorno Karabakh conflict is not a frozen one. It is not. And the ceasefire is very fragile. And the permanent violation of ceasefire on the line of contact is of serious concern, I think, to all of us, to Azerbaijan, to Armenia, to international community. Another important moment is that the balance of powers between Armenia and Azerbaijan changed dramatically during the last several years. Today, for instance, the budget spendings of Azerbaijan are 10 times more than of Armenia. All military budget of Azerbaijan is more than the total budget of Armenia. And this is a reality. And the more time passes, the gap between two countries will be even bigger. I think this also plays an important role in creating more understanding that the resolution to the conflict must be found. Status quo cannot last for many more years.
According to your view, is this, the current situation in Nagorno Karabakh, a sort of sniper status quo?
Sometimes we hear about that, but on the line of contact you do not need snipers, because the distance between trenches of both sides are sometimes like 40 meters or 50 meters. You do not need sniper to kill someone. You can use stone. And the danger is that there are no peacekeeping forces there. It's Armenian soldiers and Azerbaijani soldiers. And the peace is being maintained by both sides. Yes, there are shootings, violations of ceasefire, deaths of civilians, like a 9-year-old boy was killed by Armenian soldiers in March. But this is a reality of war. War is not over. Ceasefire does not mean that we have peace. And I think that the importance of this moment is understanding by international community, by mediators, that war is going on. We need to put an end to that. We need to put an end to hostility. In order to do it, status quo must be changed. Azerbaijani territories must be liberated. Our people have a right to go back to their homes. And this is their right. And they must be allowed to do it.